Best Animated Motion Picture, Zootopia. Congrats.
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Byron Howard, one of the directors.
I'm Rich Moore, one of the directors.
And I'm Clark Spencer, one of the producers.
Or the only producer.
Hello, and we're here. And the first two questions comes from fans of the HFPA socials. So these questions are from the fans, just came to us. What was it about this project that captured your imagination?
Well, I was a huge fan of Disney animated films like Robin Hood growing up, and we all talked years ago, this is about 5 years ago, we all said to John Lasseter, it's about time we did one of those films now in the 21st century. But John told us we had to make an animated film about animals like no one had ever seen. So we took about 2 years doing very intensive research into the animal world, and by looking at animals, we learned a lot about human beings. We started to learn about sociology and about groups that don't always get along, and this great opportunity to talk about bias and stereotype and discrimination came up, and it was awesome that Disney just embraced that, and they really supported us throughout the whole process.
And I think it was, what captured my imagination about it was being able to take something from our childhoods that we liked, those classic Disney films, to update them to the 21st century, and to really, really make it about something, that it's about bias, it's about discrimination and racism, and the damage that does to our society, and the damage of leading by fear, and to put it into a form that was not a polemic, that it was a piece of entertainment first, but had a strong core to it that gave the audience something to think about, both children and adults. That when I joined on with Byron and Clark, that was the thing that really, really got me charged up about this film.
That's great. And then this is a quick one. What are your plans after the Golden Globes?
Oh, Clark knows what.
Well, I think we'll go to a party or two maybe, right? We decided this might let us into a couple things and have a good time. This is a big night. We spent 5 years in a studio working with 800 artists to make a movie, and to have it get embraced by the world and have it be celebrated here tonight by the HFPA is a really unbelievable dream for the three of us. So we're going to enjoy tonight very much.
So thank you.
How you doing? Francisco Varela from Telemundo.
Hello.
What is your thoughts about global warming since you talk and since you make this movie, and how important it is for you now that this administration, the coming administration, is denying that is global warming going on?
Well, personally, it makes me sad. I think that it is something that a lot of scientists agree, that it is a real thing. And the fact that we have politicians that would deny that it is a real thing is scary to me, and it's frightening. But I think we're lucky to live in California, where our governor has said, well, we're still going to put that money towards studying global warming. So I'm very proud to live in a state that takes it seriously.
What was the reaction that you received from people who saw this as an allegory to racism in our country?
Well, it was very interesting because we went all around the world with the film, and when we were making it, it did take us about 5 years, and as we crafted the story, the world around us started to completely explode. Just these crazy examples of bias and fear-mongering were coming into the news daily, and it was something that we hadn't planned. But it made us all the more dedicated to making the movie get the message out in the right way. And no matter where we went in the world, whether it was Europe or Asia or South America, everyone saw something different in the film. But the fact that they all could find parts of that bias message to relate to help empower them, that was what was really reassuring to us. That was a reassuring moment that let us know that we had tried to craft the message in the right way.
And not only did we meet people around the world who were recognizing the allegory, as you say, of racism and discrimination, and the ugliness of human nature, but they also took away from it a great message of hope, that this is that this is something, our main character didn't, in the end, didn't solve racism. She didn't cure, discrimination. But the conclusion she comes to is that it's an inside job. It starts with the individual, and the people that we meet around the world really latched on to that message that there is hope for us.
Hi, I'm Nympha Rowetta from the Philippine Daily Inquirer. As you expect, I'd be asking about Josie Trinidad, the co-head of story, and I wanted to ask what you think about her work.
Josie's incredible. You want to talk about? No, go ahead, Clark. Yeah.
Well, Josie's an amazing woman who's really, she started about 6 years ago at Disney Animation, and now she worked on this film as a co-head of story, and she brings her own point of view to that room, which is really important. She's from the Philippines. She's a woman of color. So as we're making a movie that is both about a female protagonist, Judy Hopps, and a movie that's talking about bias in the world, she could bring that perspective into the story room, which is so key. And she's so incredibly talented. I think we all see the future for her is definitely to move into the directing ranks, and we're hopeful for that very much.
Hi, Jeannie Wolf. You talked about going around the world and hearing people express what they got from the film.
Yes.
How about kids? Because a lot of kids go see this as an entertainment. Right. What have you heard from young people about what they've got from the film?
Well, from what I've heard is mostly that they enjoyed the film, that they enjoyed the comedy, that they get the message of bullying that's in the movie and how destructive that can be. But I really think that just like myself, watching movies like this when I was young, I wasn't able to connect the dots like an adult could and say, like, okay, I see this is an allegory for something real in our world. To me, movies like this prepared me for life, that when situations came upon me, I was be able to reflect on those stories that I loved and really made me think and say, like, I believe I am in a situation like Mowgli in the Jungle Book right now, and I need to make a decision. And will it be like the one he made? And what do I think about how he made that decision? So I think for children, for younger people, these stories become preparation, for the life ahead of them, that they're not really seeing, they're not identifying it as much as adults do.
And I think we're very, very mindful of that. I think we're very aware that Disney animated films do influence how people grow up. We all grew up on Disney animated films. The morals and sort of the learning that we got from those films were very important to us. And so I think as we're crafting these films, we're not just thinking of them as entertainment, we're thinking of them as a way to communicate to generations in the future, and also do it in a way that is very open. Like, no matter what your background, no matter what your gender or where you're from in the world, whether it doesn't matter. If you can find yourself in this film, that's a terrific thing.
And I would say one last. Well, I was just going to say one last thing, which is one of the reasons for making Judy Hopps, the female character, the protagonist, was we could also tell a story that shows a character who's being told she can't achieve something, and yet she doesn't let that bring her down. She's just going to push through and persevere and go for that goal of hers. And I think that's one of the things I love about the film is there's many layers within it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.